time, actually most of the time, the facilities are active. So the investigation remediation is routinely performed without even interrupting the business. We want them to pay the bill. And these are open facilities, so.
I hate to cut you off, but we need to shorten this.
Okay, yes, yeah, right.
Get to the-
Okay, so the point is why I'm saying this is who I am, this is my experience. I'm an independent contractor. I'm not employed by them. They are paying my bill, but I have a duty to adhere of the rules of the professional conduct. I have a duty to protect human health and the environment, to protect the client from unlicensed practice, and to protect my license. The public is, in my opinion, has been intentionally deceived and subjected to unethical behavior. It's serious because the public relies on professionals like doctors, engineers to protect them. Misinformation and distraction is intentional to incite fear and distrust of science. Fear is a very powerful emotion. It's unethical practice to practice outside your expertise, to practice in a profession where you don't hold a license, to intentionally withhold relevant information, to disseminate information that isn't complete or correct, to perform unnecessary work or tests, to use hyperbole or superlatives that cannot be proven, to improperly endorse work that you didn't verify, to baselessly defame another professional, to knowingly rely on unlicensed practitioners, and to misrepresent credentials or authority to practice, including advertising to practice. If you look on the state education website, frequently asked questions. Question 15, what are the consequences of someone engaging in unlicensed or unauthorized practice? Answer, the laws of the state are clear in regard to unauthorized practice. Section 6512.1 of the education law makes it a Class E felony for anyone not authorized to practice who practices or offers to practice or holds themselves out as being able to practice professional geology. The reason I wrote that letter to you is Section 6509 of the education law defines professional misconduct as, among other things, permitting, aiding, or abetting an unlicensed person to perform activities requiring a license. It's also a Class E felony for some other things, but, so, Mr. Rubin says I did that letter for GRJH. That is another mischaracterization, and I sent the letter to Bob, trying to do the velvet glove approach and let him know he should not be doing this, and that didn't work. He doubled down on September 5th and told you it was okay for him to practice because he had submitted an application. He did totally unnecessary work on inundating the board with 54 pages of driller's logs outside the project area to confirm the aquifer and its use of a study that was already done and compiled over a lot of time by Steve Winkley, who actually used to work for my company, so I know Steve. In any case, it was never stated verbally or in writing that there's no aquifer or that is not near the project area that he claims somehow in his September 5th letter. It's an absurd notion to infer that I submitted and specifically referenced the aquifer and soil maps on multiple occasions and didn't recognize or acknowledge the aquifer or variable soil stratigraphy. It's not new news. It's not new information that everyone relies on groundwater, wells, including soil and in bedrock, and everyone has an on-site septic disposal. Businesses schedule their work at their convenience and schedule. It may be prudent, but it's not required to perform detailed, intrusive investigations on-site before a project is constructed. No one conducts detailed investigations off-site or on-site before a spill is reported. No one is required to investigate off-site until or unless an identified impact is suspected to or migrated off-site. I can't identify the professional standard to which Rubin refers I violated. Nonetheless, there's always an intent to perform an investigation during and after demolition because of the lift and suspected storage of petroleum. And most egregiously, Mr. Rubin has misrepresented to you orally, verbally, and in writing, and now posted online that it's okay for him to practice geology. And he's also elicited an improper endorsement by another professional that certifies the veracity of his claims. He advises you to pay no attention to the statute, which includes ethics and rules of conduct. So what